Before we conclude with some final remarks and take your questions, I do just want to take this opportunity. As I said at the beginning, we're here on behalf of the entire Senate Democratic Caucus, but there are some that were able to be here today that I do want to acknowledge their work and commitment to education reform. Senator Joe Schiavone of Mahoning County, Senator Ray Miller of Franklin County, and Senator Nina Turner of Cuyahoga County, who have been able to join us here today, in addition to the individuals that you have seen speak who have been working in committee on these issues. There is no question that there is a direct correlation between an investment in education and economic development and economic prosperity. If we want to see the future of the state of Ohio be able to compete in the global marketplace, it is critically important that we do the right things to invest and reform our education system in the state of Ohio, right here and right now. Today, fewer than 26% of Ohioans have an undergraduate degree. In order to change these statistics and again make us more competitive going forward, to be able to attract investment through a skilled workforce and a knowledge-based economy, we absolutely have to start from early childhood education all the way through to get our young people ready to go into higher education, to obtain those higher degrees, and be able to compete in the marketplace. At this time, we are here to answer questions, and I will turn it over predominantly to our members on the Finance and Education Committees who've been working arduously and intimately with these details. So we are here to answer your questions, and thank you again for being here, guys. Ladies, gentlemen.
Senators, is this basically what you're trying to say today, is that the increases that the Senate Republicans were talking about in education is all going to charter schools?
What we're saying is that the Senate Republicans go back to the old form, which is that first you calculate the total state aid, and then you subtract from that state aid the money that goes to the charter schools in the various districts. And because the charter school population is expected to increase by 7% per year, the amount of money that's subtracted is going to grow. So it means that clearly that the school districts themselves are going to get less money than the headline number indicates. And we just think that it's important for school districts to know what the reality is as to what they're getting.
The Supreme Court did rule 4 times that the system's not constitutional, but then a newly constituted court said directly, we're not going to force the legislature to do anything. Isn't it pretty clear if the Duralt case were brought back to this newly reconstituted Supreme Court, it would probably rule the current system's constitutional?
I think that the problems identified with the school funding system in the Duralt case, the over-reliance on property taxes, the problems with phantom revenue, the fact that we've budgeted based on the residual dollars available rather than what it would take to create a thorough and efficient system. These problems clearly exist, and we ought to fix them.
Let me answer your question directly. Sure, I will. On December 11th, 2002, the Supreme Court in Duralt 4 found that the General Assembly has not focused on the core constitutional directive of Duralt 1, a complete and systematic overhaul of the school funding system. We direct the General Assembly to enact a school funding scheme that is thorough and efficient as explained in Duralt 1 and Duralt 2 and the accompanying concurrences. We are not unmindful of the difficulties facing the state, but those difficulties do not trump the Constitution. They're very clear. They went on to say the duty now lies with the General Assembly to remedy an educational system that has been found by the majority in Duralt 4 to be unconstitutional. We now grant a peremptory writ and end any further DeRolf litigation in DeRolf versus the state. That is virtually to say that was their final pronouncement on the topic. That DeRolf 1 and 2 is the law, and they found the funding formula to be unconstitutional. I don't know how much more clear they could have been.
I thought at some point they came back and said, we're not going to force the legislature, we're not going to order the legislature to do anything. It's up to the legislature to do.
Oh, they said it was up to the legislature, yes. But they said that DeRolf 1 and 2 are the law of the state.
I'm missing a piece of your argument. You're linking the proposition of less money for districts, more money for charters in some way to concerns about the future of education. I mean, are you specifically asserting that that shift, if there is a shift, net shift to charters is a bad thing over against, say, what the Gates Foundation is saying? You could really get into a critique about charters vis-a-vis districts.
A couple things on that. We believe that charter schools, particularly those that are performing well, need to be sufficiently funded. President Obama and the Gates Foundation are very supportive of charter schools, but it is very important to recognize that charter schools in Ohio are not performing nearly as well in Ohio as they are in the rest of the country. And more than half of the charter schools in Ohio are either an academic watch or academic emergency. So what we need to do is to develop ways of ensuring that the charter schools perform better in Ohio, and we have proposals that were in the House version of the budget that provided for greater accountability, which we are also going to propose to restore to the budget bill. The other thing to be said is that what we really need is a more transparent system, and I think when we have a system where the school district receive a headline number in state aid, but then the charter school funding is subtracted out the back end. We don't think that's the clearest way to present this, and the program that's in the governor's plan, in which the regular public schools and the charter schools are funded through separate mechanisms, we believe that's better.